Cherie, and today we are here to discuss Resurrection. That's the 10th book in Skulduggery Pleasant series. So in a way, you can also think of it as the first book in the second half of the Skulduggery series. So basically, over here are books are divided into two sets. So first you have the first 9, which is up till Dying of the Light. Then from then onwards you have Resurrection, Midnight, Bedlam, Seasons of War, Dead or Alive, and the Grimoire. In April, Until the End will be coming out, so that's a yay. So basically Skulduggery, if you don't know about it, it's a series and it's about a story of a skeleton called Skulduggery and his, friend and colleague called Valkyrie. So yeah, it's a pretty great series, and if you haven't checked the previous books out, I think you definitely should. So let's just read the blurb. Skulduggery Pleasant is dead. Valkyrie Kane is cool. Omen Darkly is neither. The 10th book in the best-selling Skulduggery Pleasant series, and the first of a whole new story arc. Valkyrie Kane has been out of action for years, recovering from the war against her alter ego Darkness. But Skulduggery Pleasant is still fighting to save the world. When an old enemy threatens to return, he persuades Valkyrie to join him for just 24 hours. But they need someone else, someone inconspicuous. Enter Omen Darkly. Not a warrior, not a detective, and definitely not the chosen one. In case you don't know, I'll just give you a quick recap of what happened towards the end of the 9th book. Basically, Valkyrie and Darkness had this huge battle. Darkness is gone, but Val is still kind of recovering. If you might remember, Val actually had to kill her younger sister Alice. So yeah, and now because of this trauma from her past, she's kind of gone into a PTSD mode. So like, she's kind of depressed and everything, and she hasn't spoken to people in over 5 years. But Skulduggery still needs to, go on, because, he can't just stop saving the world for Val, even though, he loves her a lot. He still has a duty to kind of do. One of his spy, Temper Frey, had gone missing. Skulduggery thinks that there's this huge plot against the sanctuaries called the anti-sanctuary. Basically, Temper had been there to actually spy on all of them, and he's gone missing. So now Skulduggery wants Valkyrie to actually come over and help him out for just 24 hours. Val at first is really, apprehensive is the word I'm looking for. She does not want to do that because she's still kind of thinking about all the damage that she's done and everything. So yeah, this version of Val, I really do not like her. I really miss the old and fun and cheerful Val who would actually take on any challenge and give any kind of retort to any insult that's made to her. But right now, Val, the one that we have at the start of this book, is basically like, whatever happens in life, I'm just going to accept it because I have nothing to live on for. So yeah, I did not really like that much, but it's okay. And I'll just explain more of this in the summary. Val is back in action for 24 hours with Skulduggery. So first they go to visit the sanctuary to meet China, who's now the supreme mage. And then they want to find out more about this anti-sanctuary cult. Skulduggery thinks that actually Carnival Academy, which is like the school for mages made 5 years ago, he thinks that they have some kind of meetings and stuff going on over there. So that's where Omen Darkly comes in. So Omen Darkly's brother, Augur Darkly, is basically some kind of person who's prophesied to, kind of kill some bad guy. It's not that clear, but yeah. Now Omen has to work as a spy for them to find out if any of the, faculty members and students and stuff are a part of this anti-mortal, anti-sanctuary thing. Later, while they're in Roarhaven, Val suddenly starts to get a really horrible headache, and that's kind of close to the area where Darkness had actually, mainly affected the town. And that's actually another place where sensitives can't go to without kind of, losing their mental sanity and stuff. So because this intrigues Skulduggery, he takes her to Cassandra Pharos' cottage. So Cassandra Pharos was basically a psychic, which meant that she could actually look into the future and stuff. Turns out that Val also gets another vision. I'm not going to tell the details because that would kind of be pointless, but yeah, she gets a vision, and turns out that Val is also psychic. Valkyrie is not happy. So usually people only have one kind of magic, but Val is a special case since first her magic was snatched away by Darkness, then she got a whole lot of extra magic in her. And oops, my one fell down. And yeah, so she has a whole new brand of magic in her. They try to meet one of these anti-sanctuary cult members, which is Lilt. Lilt is actually a faculty teacher at Carnival Academy. Skulduggery then does some research and finds out that Lilt had actually done research on neurotic sorcerers or something like that, which are basically mages who actually got their powers but didn't really know the rules of them. So they can sometimes be stronger than normal sorcerers and sometimes weaker. Yeah, they try to track down Richard Mellier, who is one of this anti-sanctuary cult member. First time when they track him down, he gets all of his backup people and Skulduggery and Val get hurt and everything. So Val and Skull aren't happy, but then they again visit Melia. This time he's much calmer and everything. He tells them about, the anti-sanctuary plotting in the background for years to kind of take over and stuff, and how they want to rule mortals, the same thing. Leader of this anti-sanctuary will be Abai-Zinya. So Abai-Zinya was actually Skulduggery Pleasant's ex-girlfriend. Apparently, her heart had been clawed out of her chest and it had been put in Cold Heart Prison. It's the prison in which the world's worst kind of sorcerers are kept. Now, this anti-sanctuary people have Cold Heart under their control, but the sanctuaries don't know about it. So now, Melia and all of these other people from the anti-sanctuary place, they want to resurrect Abai-Zinya so that she can lead them on in a way to rule all mortals and sorcerers and stuff. Well, on their way out, Skulduggery gets possessed. So basically, the anti-sanctuary cult had another member who could actually possess people's brains and minds and stuff, kind of, just control people. Now Skulduggery is under that influence. And Val is kind of like caught. Like, she can actually just, leave and tell, okay, Skull, I gave you a 24 hours, but sorry, I need to leave. She's not going to do that because they've had such great times together. I mean, most of the time they were just fighting baddies and saving the world, but still, it makes for great memories. Valkyrie works with China Sorrows, kind of to get Cold Heart back under the sanctuary control. And this they get to know about from Omen, who had actually kind of gotten teleported to this Cold Heart prison. And over there they also found Temper Frey, who was that spy that we had talked about earlier. Omen and Temper managed to get back. So Omen, Temper and Val, they formed a plan to infiltrate the Cold Heart prison. And they also got teleported to the Golden Gate Bridge. And then later, since Skulduggery was working with the bad side, he actually knew, all of what Val would do and everything, so he could easily kind of predict her moves. He wasn't his own usual charming self, sadly. And at this Golden Gate Bridge, Val was knocked out, and then Temper, Omen, Val, and Never, who was the teleporter, they were all taken to Cold Heart. And now Val she was an extremely strong sorcerer. And to get Abai-Zinya back, they needed a really, really strong magic. So that's why they got neurotic sorcerers, which are basically sorcerers who have their powers but don't know the rules to them. So they got Val there, and then they sucked her to some kind of life-sucking device. As weird as it may sound, yeah, it literally sucks the life out of you. So yeah, Val's life was gonna be sucked away. Thankfully, Skulduggery came back to his senses. And then they had a huge battle, which I'm not gonna go into the depth over here. And now, onto the review. I really like this book, Resurrection, because it was a great comeback, especially the way Val's character kind of developed. First, she was a PTSD driven person. Like, she did not want to do anything. She actually stayed in Colorado for 5 years, and over there she lived all alone, just kind of getting better at her physical strength and stuff. And she's been living alone, and she was really depressed. Though actually her humor is pretty funny in this book. There are a few extracts that can be there. There was like stuff about how Val wanted to eat her dog's food just because she was kind of lazy to go to the grocery store. And also, like, later on, we kind of get China to be a positive force on Val. Val was really, really depressed, and China is like, what is wrong with you? You aren't the girl that I used to know. Why are you so depressed and everything? Val told that it's because, she killed so many people, but China could also tell that Val was lying. She actually felt so guilty that she killed her baby sister. Alice was hardly 2 at that point, and Alice had been killed by Valkyrie, so yeah, she felt terrible and horrible and wanted to kind of correct that and everything, but she couldn't. So slowly the old Val started to emerge back, and that old Val relationship starts to strengthen on slowly through the series. I would rate this 9 on 10 because, well, the story didn't seem that interesting to me. But yeah, slowly as this part 2 of the Skulduggery series goes on, it becomes pretty interesting, like in Dead or Alive, and I honestly cannot wait until the end. It's like the final book in the part 2 of the series, and it will be coming out in April. So I am honestly I'm very excited and eager to read it. That's it for the review. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!